Hey everybody, I'm back. I wanted to bring another video. This is going to be pretty quickly, hopefully. I can get through it. Excuse me, I'm trying to fight this cold. The last video I did, I was criticizing, of course, this whole hood rat leading to the moist dude type thing, the lifestyle. Excuse me, but in my profession, I work with genetics. So I wanted to give a scientific explanation that's being brought forth to give an idea of why men are homosexual. So they're giving the science behind homosexuality. I still am skeptical because this is very new, novel research, and several of the genes I have not been able to have the time to look them up. So that's something I would do in my spare time. I work on androgen receptor, which is with prostate cancer, but I will be looking up some of these genes. So anyway, why are you looking at a graph? This figure 1 Manhattan plot of a genome-wide association study for male sexual orientation. This is a figure from a paper that just came out earlier this year. It was published a few days ago. It's 5 days ago, on the 7th of December, 2017. And the title is Genome-Wide Association Study of Male Sexual Orientation. It has the authors there, who's published in Scientific Reports. The subheadings are behavioral genetics and human behavior. The main issue in this study was homosexuality. So what they're trying to do basically is determine if there are certain mutations that will lead a person to become homosexual. And this is cutting edge, but also could be a dangerous precedent to take, because when you can give a genetic reasoning behind behavior, you can criminalize behavior. And this was done with Margaret Sanger. It was done with some of Dr. J. Marion Sims' work as the so-called father of gynecology. It was done in many other ways, as we know, as African Americans in this country, and on this planet. It's happened in other countries as well. But they're saying here that they have conducted genome-wide association studies of male sexual orientation on a primarily European ancestry sample. That's very important to note, aka white. Over 1,000 homosexual men and over 1,200 heterosexual men. And they use this Affymetrix single nucleotide polymorphism array. So it's basically a chip that they're reading from the samples. I have to read the methods. I'm not sure what samples they were. It was more than likely blood samples that they took, or perhaps serum or plasma. But they have identified several mutations with a very strong p-value indicating very low variation and very high statistical significance. That's what the p less than 10 to the negative 5 means. So it just means their data is statistically significant based on the statistical test that they did. One of the genes they found on chromosome 13 was SLITRK6, which is a neurodevelopment gene mostly expressed in the diencephalon. And they're trying to say that this particular gene and other variants within the non-coding regions of the genes could be involved in promoting homosexuality. Even though it is found in other diseases, they want to say that it is perhaps linked to increased potential for homosexuality later on in life. Excuse me. So this is showing their data, and their data is representing several single nucleotide polymorphisms, or the SNP, the SNPs, labeled as RS. And you have RS 954, 7443, and so forth that are all listed. So these are different, expressed at different levels and expressed at different frequency from one patient to another. And so that's what this data is representing. Now, if we start looking through the results and discussion section, you only see one figure. I don't see any other figures. That's a problem. When you come down to their discussion, they keep saying these limitations. They have limitations on their study. They go throughout saying that over and over. No. You can't have a study like this, which is a genome-wide study, and then turn around and say you have limitations. And if you do have limitations, excuse me, you can't go in your abstract and say, oh, the expression of these mutations of this particular gene must mean that somebody is more likely to be homosexual. That's a leap. That's a Grand Canyon leap. Okay, I'm very skeptical of this article and many articles similar to it due to the variability between studies, not just with this particular study, but between other studies. And the fact that it's coming out at a certain time, politically and financially, just to be honest. When things happen politically, similar to Roe versus Wade back in the 70s, I think, you had a lot of abortion clinics opening. You had a lot of people who were socially becoming more amicable to changes in the political landscape. So this is something that should bring concern. It is or is not, may or may not be related to previous videos I did, but I would like to just give this as, an idea, something to think about, maybe something to have a discussion about. Maybe it's something that we could look more into. I know there are other studies out there, but you guys tell me what you think about this. And yeah, I don't have anything else. I guess like the video if you like it, comment in the bottom, subscribe. Thank you. Bye.